Lisa's secret didn't just break Daniel's heart, it shattered every ounce of trust left between them, right there on camera. One confession turned a messy night into a disaster that no one saw coming, and now both their futures hang by a thread. If you thought things couldn't get any worse for this couple, what would you do if the person you loved was hiding the one truth that could ruin everything? Last time, Lisa and Daniel were barely holding it together. The tension in that hotel room was so thick you could almost feel it through the screen. Daniel kept glancing at Lisa, searching her face for answers she wasn't ready to give. Lisa, on the other hand, looked like she was carrying a secret so heavy it might crush her before the night was over. The air was full of questions, and neither of them seemed ready for the answers. Now, the sun is up, but nothing feels lighter. Lisa is trying to act normal, but you can see the panic in her eyes every time Daniel mentions his family or the future. Daniel is putting on a brave face, but he's not fooling anyone. He's been working overtime to keep this relationship on track, but you can tell he's starting to wonder if he's the only one fighting for it. There's this awkward dance between them, like they're both waiting for the other to make the first move, but nobody wants to step on the landmine they both know is there. Lisa cracks a joke about the hotel breakfast, but her laugh is forced. Daniel smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. You know that feeling when you're at a party and you sense a fight brewing in the next room? That's the vibe here. Every word, every glance, every silence is loaded. Lisa keeps checking her phone, probably hoping for a distraction, while Daniel keeps bringing up the wedding plans, almost daring her to say something that will change everything. If you think this is tense, wait until you see what happens when secrets start slipping out and trust goes up in flames. Lisa's hands are shaking as she pours her coffee, and Daniel's questions are getting sharper. He wants to know why she's been so distant, why she keeps dodging his calls when he's not around. Lisa tries to brush it off, but you can see the fear in her eyes. She knows the truth is coming for her, and there's nowhere left to hide. Daniel isn't letting this go, and Lisa's running out of excuses. The calm before the storm never lasts, and you can feel the first drops starting to fall. No one could have predicted how low things would sink until that night. Lisa's accident wasn't just embarrassing, it was the kind of moment that makes you want to disappear. She tried to laugh it off, blaming the spicy food, but the shame was written all over her face. Daniel, to his credit, didn't flinch. He helped her clean up, kept his voice gentle, and even cracked a joke about Nigerian cuisine. But behind that calm, you could see something else. He was calculating, weighing every second of humiliation against the promise of a new life in America. Was this love, or was it survival mode? Lisa's mortification was real, but so was her fear. She kept replaying the night in her head, wondering if Daniel would ever look at her the same way again. Every time she tried to apologize, he brushed it off, but his eyes told a different story. He was watching her, studying her reactions, almost as if he was waiting for her to slip up and reveal something bigger. You have to wonder, is Daniel really that forgiving, or is he just that desperate? The way he clings to her, even after everything, makes you question his motives. Is he here for Lisa, or for the green card she represents? Every awkward silence between them feels like a countdown to the next disaster, and you can't help but wonder what else Lisa is hiding behind that nervous smile. Lisa's embarrassment is only half the story. She's carrying a secret that's eating her alive, and every time Daniel shows her kindness, the guilt gets heavier. He keeps talking about their future, about meeting his family, about building a life together, and Lisa can barely meet his eyes. The tension is building, and you can feel it in every word they say. Daniel's patience is running thin, and Lisa's running out of time. The worst part? She knows the real storm hasn't even started yet. Daniel's list of expectations keeps growing, and Lisa can feel the pressure mounting with every new demand. He wants her to master his favorite dishes, respect his customs, and always look her best, no matter how out of place she feels. Lisa tries to keep up, but it's like running a race where the finish line keeps moving. She fumbles through a traditional cookery class, sweating over unfamiliar spices and worried glances from Daniel. He watches her closely, reminding her that in his hometown, a wife who can't cook risks losing her husband to someone else. The message is clear: adapt or get left behind. Lisa's frustration simmers beneath the surface. She's already supporting Daniel financially, bending over backward to fit into his world, and now she's expected to change everything about herself just to keep him happy. The more she tries, the more it feels like she's losing pieces of who she is. Daniel's affection seems to hinge on her ability to meet his standards, and every compliment comes with a condition. Is this what love looks like, or is it a transaction where both sides are keeping score? When loyalty starts to feel like a test and honesty becomes a luxury, you have to ask yourself, how much of yourself would you give up to keep someone by your side? Lisa's struggle isn't just about learning recipes or wearing the right wig. It's about trying to hold on to her dignity while playing by rules that were never hers to begin with. She wants to believe Daniel loves her for who she is, but every new expectation chips away at that hope. The tension reaches a breaking point when Lisa, exhausted and cornered, decides it's time to come clean. But even now, she can't bring herself to tell the whole truth. She picks the safest secret, hoping it will be enough to buy her a little more time, not realizing that half-truths have a way of blowing up bigger than any lie. Lisa finally sits across from Daniel, her hands trembling as she tries to find the right words. She admits she's been married 5 times, her voice barely above a whisper. Daniel's face freezes, his fork suspended in midair. For a moment, it's like the world stops spinning. He asks her again, needing to hear it twice, and Lisa nods, eyes fixed on the table. She leaves out the part about 2 of those marriages being to women, and the fact that she's still legally married. The silence between them is deafening. Daniel's shock is raw, his mind racing through every conversation, every promise, every plan they made together. He stares at Lisa, struggling to process what he's heard. In his world, marriage is sacred, and the idea of being with another man's wife is more than a scandal. It's a sin that could cost him everything. He thinks about his family, his friends, the community back home, the shame, the fear of being shunned, the risk of losing his place among his people. Daniel's anger simmers, but underneath it all is a deep sense of betrayal. He trusted Lisa, and now he feels like a fool. When trust breaks, it's not just the relationship that suffers, it's every dream, every hope, every plan for the future that starts to fall apart. Lisa can't hold it together. She excuses herself, rushing to the bathroom, tears streaming down her face. The weight of her secret is crushing her, and she knows she's only made things worse by telling half the truth. She calls her daughter, Faith, desperate for comfort, but even Faith can't offer the reassurance Lisa needs. Faith asks if she told Daniel everything, and Lisa admits she left out the most important part. The guilt is overwhelming, but the fear of losing Daniel is stronger. She convinces herself that some secrets are better left buried, even as she watches Daniel's trust crumble in real time. Daniel sits alone, replaying the confession over and over in his mind. He wonders if he can ever forgive Lisa, or if this is the end of their story. Lisa's biggest secret is still locked away, but the damage is already done. The question now is whether their relationship can survive another blow, or if the next revelation will be the one that finally tears them apart. Daniel's silence is louder than any argument. He sits on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall, his mind racing through every moment he shared with Lisa. The anger in his eyes is mixed with disbelief, as if he's still hoping this is all some kind of mistake. Lisa hovers nearby, desperate to say something that will fix what's broken, but every word she tries to form gets stuck in her throat. She watches Daniel, searching for a sign that he might forgive her, but all she finds is distance. The room feels colder, the air heavier, and neither of them knows how to bridge the gap that's opened up between them. Lisa's regret is written all over her face. She paces the room, replaying her confession and wishing she could take it back or at least find the courage to tell the whole truth. She knows Daniel's trust is shattered, and the fear of losing him is almost too much to bear. Every time she tries to reach out, Daniel pulls further away, his walls going up higher with every passing minute. He thinks about his family, his reputation, and the risk he's taken by tying his future to Lisa. The stakes have never been higher, and both of them know that one more secret could be the final straw. Sometimes the hardest part isn't the secret itself, but the way it changes everything you thought you knew about someone. Daniel's anger simmers beneath the surface, but it's the disappointment that cuts the deepest. He wonders if he's wasted his time, if all the sacrifices he's made were for nothing. Lisa, meanwhile, is trapped between guilt and hope, clinging to the possibility that Daniel might still choose her, even after everything. The tension between them is thick, every glance loaded with questions that neither of them is ready to answer. They leave the hotel together, but the silence in the taxi says more than words ever could. Back in her own room, Lisa calls Faith again, her voice shaking as she admits she's still hiding the truth. Faith warns her that secrets have a way of coming out, especially when cameras are rolling and the world is watching. Lisa knows she's running out of time, but the fear of Daniel's reaction keeps her silent. She wants to believe that love can survive anything, but deep down, she knows the next bombshell could destroy whatever is left between them. Daniel lies awake, replaying every moment, every promise, every lie. He wonders if forgiveness is even possible, or if some betrayals are too big to overcome. Lisa's secret hangs over them like a storm cloud, and both of them know it's only a matter of time before the truth comes crashing down. The question isn't if it will happen, but when and what will be left standing when it does. If you think this was explosive, wait until you see what happens when the truth finally comes out and both their lives are changed forever.